What's going on? Pastor Tan here, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
All right, disappointing loss. Always disappointing. You don't come out on top when you work to only get 12 chances a year to get these opportunities. So credit to Louisville and their staff. They did a good job of really making a couple adjustments and sustaining in that third quarter. Did a good job with the field position in that quarter. Really behind the 8 ball on the field position back on the third, and ended up being a big factor in what we did. But a lot to build off in the game, off of in the game, and a lot to learn from. We will learn from it, and that's our job. Margin of error is small, and it's very small, and we've got to be able to sustain for the entire game, and get into the third quarter and be able to continue. And hey, look, you come out and they go down the field, we've got to be able to answer. We've got to be able to, if we do go 3 and out, be able to come back the next drive and rebound from it. And that's what happened in the second half. We got kind of spotty in some of the areas of play. All phases. We won one phase, so it was all phases that we've got to continue to improve on. And like I said, we'll learn from this. We have a lot of new guys out there. They play a lot of meaningful downs tonight. A lot of downs, and a lot of them did. We had some big plays made by some new guys out on the field. And, it's encouraging when those guys can go out and do that. At the same time, we've got to be able to do it for the entirety of the football game. So, really those middle downs, you look at things and say, third quarter, third downs, or this or this, but it's the first and second downs that you got to be able to make plays on. They got the ball in the perimeter some, and broke us down. We'll improve on that, and we'll work on that, and be ready to come back next week. And like I said, learn from the things that we've got to learn from, and build off the things we can build off of. So with that, we'll go for questions.
Okay, please wait for a mic. We'll start up here, Rob.
Offensively, it seemed when Haynes had time back there, he threw the ball well, but the second half, their defensive line really put a lot of pressure on him, and that really hurt the offense.
Yeah, it usually does. Early on, we had a couple breakdowns and things, and I thought Buster did a really good job of adapting and with some of the play calls and things we were doing. And then you get into some of those situations where we're looking at the dial-ups and the shots, and you get the ball really pushed downfield, and obviously those take longer. And like I said, some young guys out there got some meaningful downs, and learn a lot from it. And that's my job is to make sure we make the biggest games really from the first game to the second game.
Secondary got banged up a little bit there in the second half. Any update on guys like Miles Brooks, Miles Sims, those guys?
Yeah, not till tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll find out. We'll get the injury report.
Hey, Coach, take us to that fourth quarter with a little bit less than 4. You went forward on 4th and 6. What was the decision behind going forward at that point in time instead of planning to let the defense give one more chance?
Yeah, well, just the flow of the game at that point. They'd broken off some big plays. They were racking up explosives at that time. When you look at the momentum of the game, the flow of the game, we had to be able to get something done there. And the way the clock runs now, there might it says 3 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock when that time was, and that's not something that you decide at the spur of the moment. That's something that you decide early on in the downs. It's not a drop in the hat and say, oh, let's go for it. That's something you decide early in the down by the flow of the game. It's 3 minutes 46 seconds on the clock. The way the clock runs now, that 3:46, it might 3:46 used to be. It goes a lot faster. And we need to make our hay there. We knew what type of coverage we'd be in. We had it called up. We had, unfortunately, we're not able to execute and play.
Kelly.
Brent, I was curious, missed tackles seem to really bite you guys at times, especially in the hole on some of those big running plays, and then in space they took advantage of opportunities. Was that something that you saw leading into the game that was a concern, or just jitters, or anything particularly you put your finger on from the tackles?
No, I mean, it's you know, anytime you get guys in space, and as you know, when we call that's what college football is now. It's the battle of the explosives. And I think they won the first quarter, won the second quarter, they won the third. That's kind of how it went back and forth. And that's how explosives occur. Either somebody gets beat on one-on-one, on a route, some sort of a route, or somebody gets beat and broke down one-on-one in a tackling situation. And they were able to execute in those situations, and obviously some of those things that we'll learn from, and we'll continue to address and work on, and then get better this weekend.
In the back of.
Coach Key, what stands out? Second quarter, remarkable turnabout, and the productivity was off the charts. Was that better execution? Was that adjustments? Was that a personnel change for Georgia Tech? 28 points in the quarter.
Yeah, no, it's it goes with the tempo of the game, the flow of the game. When you're playing with tempo, you get those explosives, and you're able to really kind of put your foot on them. Momentum starts rolling, and when you're playing with tempo, it's a double-edged sword. It affects both sides of the football, and you got to be. Our whole thing with tempo is being able to play tempo that complements the entire football team, not just one side of the ball. And we're able to get in the rhythm there. Come out in the second half, and unfortunately, that first series we weren't able to get in the rhythm to get the tempo going. And then later on, we were able to get some tempo moving. So it's all how it's set up, and it goes. But the efficiency on first down really allows you to be able to get into that rhythm.
Ken, right here.
Brent, this week you were talking about wanting your team to play with poise and be physical and situational football, and there were some things in the fourth quarter I'm sure you feel better about, but overall, just how did you feel about just the play of the big team in that quarter?
It's hard to sit here and say you feel good about anything when you come off of a loss like that. It really is. That's our job, is to find the things that we did well and continue to do them well, and find the things that we did not do as well and improve on those. And I don't know what the sheet found, but I think it was one or two penalties. We challenged them to constantly play with discipline. Continue to make improvements in that. Situational things. Some were good and some weren't. It's both sides of the football, all around. So toughness, and I think to the last play, I think guys were playing hard, but there's no trophies for playing hard. It's just part of the equation of being a good football team.
Exactly.
Coach, you've spoken often about the process of establishing your identity. I know you were able to do that in the offseason and the camp, but after one game, what's the identity that you feel you guys showed tonight?
Yeah, well, our identity was in spurts. We had flashes of an identity. We had flashes of the team we want to be, and that is part of the process. When you put things on tape and you show who you can be, then you need to be that. You can't part-time do it and be it, and that would be a big part of the lessons learned from the game. And for ages, biggest improvements they're supposed to occur between the first and the second game, because now you do have a good feel for how your team competes against another opponent, not just themselves. So we'll take those things and move forward with them and continue to improve into the next football game.
Jeff.
Following up an earlier question, during the week you also said you wanted to see how your team would respond in an adverse situation. When things seemed like things started getting out of control a little bit in the second half, I was just wondering from you weren't on the sideline, what you saw.
Yeah, that's something you watch closely. You're watching the feel of your team, how your team's responding to things. Are they getting down? Are they moaning at each other? And there wasn't any of that. There was none of that. It was okay. Hey, we got to get this fixed. We got to get out of the rut. Okay, well, how do you get out of the rut? Help them with some play calls, do some things, which we did. I thought offensively after those first two drives of the second half, then we kind of started to get back into a rhythm. So you saw the ebbs and flows of the game. You saw the positives of what can be there. with those guys. You know, it'd be real easy when all of a sudden, you know, there's a quick run of points like that just to give up and throw the towel in. But I didn't see that at all. So that's an encouraging thing that I continue to build off of.
Time for a couple more, Jackson.
Coach, the running game seemed to find a little bit of a groove in the second quarter and then kind of tailed off in the second half. Was it something the defense was doing? Was it problems up front, or?
No, I mean they did some good things. You know, made some good adjustments on their side. You know, and we in turn made some adjustments back to it. And you know, so that's part of the the chess match of the game. You know, they jumped into a net pair front. And, you know, so we ended up having to, you know, once they did that, then we went back and adjusted back some other way. And, you know, you got to be able to execute when your numbers called on it. And look, you know, it was with some of the middle field coverages they were playing and loading the box up. You know, early on, you know, we were running some of the stretch zone things, and we hit some good creases, and then as they jumped into different fronts, and you saw us, and then we started working to take some of the shots and get the ball out of their hands, and didn't execute on as many of them as we needed to. So we'll continue to work on it, continue to do better.
Okay. Cody in the back.
What'd you think of Haynes? We obviously saw the wheels a little bit of Haynes King, and do you feel like he is the quarterback that you saw that won this job in the fall?
Yeah.
He showed that today?
Yeah, he did. He made some big time throws. He sat there and regressed several times. Showed us, made plays with his feet. Got some yardage. They got positive plays. Pulling the ball down, scrambling, or pulling it down on a read play or a design run. And so that was encouraging. It was encouraging to see him sit there and deliver the football. And then we were, a couple inches away from a couple other big ones that we'll continue to close that gap and we'll make that margin.
Last one, David, back.
I know you said it's disappointing, but on the loss, watch tape. Does it feel like this one slipped away a little bit?
Loss is a loss. There's no asterisk next to one that was a close loss or slipped away or was a blowout. Loss is a loss on the offense side.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
All right, guys.